Welcome back to Week 14 Spread Pick Show. So, of course, last week it was another, not underwhelming, but just another average week, 7-7. Call me the Giants, tying. So anyway, overall record now 82, 92, and 9. So of course not where you want to be, but hopefully that gets better. As usual, I'll put each game in the description, the timestamps. So jump to whatever game you want to go to. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and of course leave a like. It always helps out. And let's get into it. First game, we have the AFC East matchup, the Jets at the Bills. The Jets at 7-5, the Bills at 9-3. So a pretty big game here for the playoff implications for the Jets, especially here. But the Buffalo Bills are -10, and I'm going to go with Buffalo. I do like the fact that they have 10 days off, so -10, 10 days off. Can that mean something? I don't know. But getting Josh Allen's elbow, shoulder, whatever it was, I think it was elbow, more healthy, and the Bills becoming more balanced as an offense and running the ball well with James Cook more implemented into the offense. I do like that. And Mike White, you know, he's been better than Zach Wilson, no doubt about it, but he does make mistakes, and there is some light snow projected in Orchard Park for this game. So, you know what? I will take Buffalo. They're due for winning by a lot at some point. They did beat the Patriots by 14 last week. It just didn't feel like it on Thursday night. But I do think the Bills in this matchup, they are the much better team. Yes, losing Von Miller sucks, but he wasn't supposed to be back for this game anyway. But I'll take Buffalo -10 here to kick things off. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals here. Another big game here for the implications for the playoffs here. For Cleveland, they're 5-7, so can't afford to lose many more here. The Bengals have won 4 straight. They're actually looking really good right now, getting us back to like the same vibes as last year when they made that run to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they'll do that again, but they definitely have a really good roster. I'm going to take the Bengals, and I know the last like 3-4 times these teams have played, it has not gone in the Bengals' favor, but I will say things change here. The Bengals are a -5.5. They are the home team, which is nice, and you know, Cincy's run defense, not the best. I completely get that. But Deshaun Watson did not look good at all. And they're obviously not going to go back to Jacoby Brissett. They're going to give Deshaun Watson time to settle in here. And I don't think the Browns are in it for this year. It's probably more of a next year type thing. They'll still try to win, of course, but I have my concerns about how Deshaun Watson will look. He threw the awful red zone interception last week, and I just don't know if they have the offensive firepower to keep up with, you know, Jamar Chase back and what the Bengals are doing offensively. Since he did lose Hayden Hurst at tight end, so that does suck. But you still have Boyd, you still have Higgins, you still have Chase now back healthy. They'll be all right. Next, the Texans are at the Cowboys, the 1-10-1 Texans at the 9-3 Cowboys, playing very good football of late. The Cowboys are favorites by 17, which might be the biggest spread differential I've seen this year, not of all time. I think that Rams-Jets game from a couple years back, which the Jets ironically won, was like a -20. So I'm sure there's been worse actually. I don't know. Leave in the comments. What's the biggest spread you've ever seen? I'm kind of curious, but anyway. I'm still taking Dallas. I don't even care. I mean, you know, Houston has Derek Stingley out, their top corner. They're missing their top 2 wide receivers in Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks. It's going to be can the Texans run the ball and just keep the ball out of Dallas's hands? And I don't know, because their running back, Dameon Pierce, has not been as great the past 3-4 weeks, and their run game has not been that good. They are going back to Davis Mills. Maybe that helps, but the Texans have looked so atrocious lately. Dallas, on the other hand, they have looked very good. They've won 5 of their past 6 games, and they're coming off that 54-19 victory versus the Colts, and they should have beat the Giants by more. I mean, the Giants had that like 8-second left on the clock touchdown to make that score look better. So, and they had the 40-3 win versus the Vikings right before that. So Dallas has been just destroying teams, and I think that can keep up here. So I'll take Dallas -17. Next, and this might be one of the biggest trap games of the week, honestly, and I'm going to fall for it. It's the Vikings at the Lions, and you're thinking that the 10-2 Vikings have to be favored over the 5-7 Lions, right? But that's not how it is. Right now, it is a Minnesota 2-point underdog. So I'm taking Minnesota. I'm going to take the bait. And you know what? The Vikings run D has been very solid this year. You're going to force Jared Goff to beat you on like 45 pass attempts. I mean, maybe he does it, definitely, because the Vikings secondary has not been very good this year. But let's not discount Minnesota's offense either. I mean, Detroit's defense has played better lately. I will give them that. But overall, they're not that scary of a unit. Of course, you have Justin Jefferson that can take over a game at any point, and he might do that in this matchup. So I do trust Kirk Cousins here in this 1 o'clock slot, and I do think the Vikings are still the better team despite what the spread is saying here. So I will take Minnesota +2. but it's a very curious spread, so I'm definitely interested to see how this one plays out. Next, we have the 4-8 Jacksonville Jaguars at the 7-5 Tennessee Titans. The Titans are favorites by 3.5 at home here. I'm going to take Tennessee. I think, they are the much better team. The Jaguars coming off that pretty horrific loss. I mean, just really embarrassing loss, I should say. 40-14 against the Lions in Detroit last week. And the Jaguars are a very inconsistent team, as I've said before. They've had some impressive wins this year, whether it be that Ravens win, a 2-point conversion a couple weeks ago. They beat the Raiders in week 9. They had the Chargers win early. They shut out the Colts early. But, the Jaguars are just way too inconsistent. I can't take them. And the Titans are coming off 2 straight losses. I don't know what, Mike Vrabel's record is coming off 2 straight losses in his coaching career, but I'd have to imagine they are a good team coming off back-to-back losses. They ran into a tough situation last week versus Philly where they lost 35-10, but that was because Derrick Henry only had like 10 carries or something. They took him out of the game because of the game script and that game being out of hand. This should be one where the Titans can at least keep it close or play from ahead. So I will take Tennessee. They are missing Christian Fulton, I think, their top corner, so that, of course, is not good, but I still don't trust Trevor Lawrence being hurt. He's definitely not 100% right now, so I'll take my chances, and I will take Tennessee minus 3.5. Next, we have the 11-1 Philadelphia Eagles at my 7-4-1 New York Giants. I hate saying and one. Like, just why'd they have to tie? Damn it. Anyway, so the Eagles are favorites here on the road by 7 points, and I have not picked the Giants lately in these spreads. I'm trying to think the last time I picked the Giants. It might have been like that. Maybe the Houston game a few weeks back. I don't know. It's been a while. I think I took them for the Lions game, actually, that they lost. I'm going to take Philly here. I mean, it makes the losses hurt less when I get the spreads right, at least. So I will take Philly. They're the much more healthy team right now. I definitely could see the Giants keeping this one close. I do hope that's the case, obviously, but with Saquon Barkley banged up now, Leonard Williams not expected to play, and of course the Giants having 2 of their best players in the secondary out with McKinney and Adoree Jackson, it's going to be tough, and the Eagles can beat you in any way possible. So I do hope the Giants get some turnover luck or something like that and just somehow win this game, but I'm not expecting that. Philly has shown the ability to blow teams out this year, so that could be the unfortunate case for the Giants this week. Next, we have the 8-4. I almost said like 8-4-1 because I'm used to saying the ties now. 8-4 Ravens at the 5-7 Pittsburgh Steelers. It's Huntley Nut Cheerios. It's Tyler Huntley, no Lamar Jackson this week, so Tyler Huntley's like this Walmart version, I guess you can call him, of Lamar Jackson, and he had some impressive moments last week. He had that 91-yard game-winning drive, which was really awesome, and definitely just crushed the spirits of the Broncos and their fans. I'm sure that Broncos defense is like, come on, we held you guys to 3 points the entire game. Our quarterback sucks, and just a crappy loss there for Denver. Anyway, for this game, it is Pittsburgh -2 at home, which does make sense with Lamar being out. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I mean, I don't know how Mike Tomlin continues to do it, but he'll probably find a way to get to 500 this year. It should not have happened, and they've won their past 2 games after being 3-7. They're now 5-7. And looking at the Steelers' schedule, they have Baltimore, where they're favored. Then they're at the Panthers, they're favored. The Raiders, I mean, you could beat them. At Baltimore again, we'll see if Lamar's back by then. And then Cleveland, which is, it's a toss-up game. So it's possible that once again, Mike Tomlin somehow gets to 500 this year. So anyway, yeah, I will take Philly. It's going to be interesting to see how Tyler Huntley looks and how different this offense looks. The Ravens do get J.K. Dobbins back. That's good for them, of course. They waived Mike Davis, who was a big part of my fantasy team last year. So rip Mike Davis. But anyway, I will take the Ravens, not the Ravens. I will take the Steelers here because these are the games they tend to win for some reason. It should be a low-scoring game for the most part, but I'll take Pittsburgh -2, and they get Chris Boswell back, I believe, their kicker, which definitely helps in a game like this. Next, the Kansas City Chiefs are at the Denver Broncos, 9-3 versus 3-9. I'm sure you guys know which record belongs to which team at this point. So anyway, I'm going to take the Chiefs -8.5. I feel like the sharp side might be the Broncos because, who the hell's taking the Broncos here? But from what I just said with the previous game, I was talking about the Broncos versus Ravens matchup last week. It must have been so demoralizing to be part of that Broncos defense, which is a very good defense. But as I said, they held Baltimore's offense that was led by Lamar Jackson / Tyler Huntley to 3 points for 95% of that game. And then, of course, they blew it at the end. And their offense, a.k.a. Brandon McManus, put up 9 points. And it probably felt terrible for the Broncos players. And I just don't know how they bounce back against a powerhouse team of the Chiefs that are coming off a loss, by the way, after winning 5 in a row. So, yeah, I don't think there's any shot in hell the Chiefs lose this game. It's only 8.5, so you're asking Mahomes to win by a touchdown and a field goal. I'll take my chances there. I'll take Kansas City minus 8.5. Next, the 6-6 Buccaneers are at the 8-4 49ers. Of course, there is no Jimmy Garoppolo in this game. Brock Purdy will start for the Niners. And I wonder if Purdy was even alive when Brady made his first start in the NFL. I'm sure they'll say that on the broadcast, but I'm kind of curious because I feel like that kind of might match up timeline-wise. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, I'm going to take San Francisco minus 3.5. I was going to take Tampa initially, and they always say go with your gut instincts, so we'll find out what was right. But the more I thought about it, I know Nick Bosa is questionable, and that definitely plays a factor into who I think will win this game or even like cover the spread. But I just think the Niners defense is too good. I mean, Brady's offensive line is not very good. He wants to check down to Fournette. Doesn't want to, but he has to check down to Fournette and Rashad White, the running backs, just about every play it seems like, and Mike Evans, as a result, has not had a big game in a while. Definitely would like that for fantasy purposes, but it's been a tough go here for Mike Evans the past month or so. But yeah, the Buccaneers offense, not very good. Purdy seemed competent in his, filling in for Garoppolo last week against the Miami Dolphins, and I know the Dolphins defense is not that great in the first place, and I'm sure the Buccaneers are a bit better, but the 49ers as a overall team are very good, and I think they can put the ball in Debo's hands and McCaffrey's hands and Ayuk's hands and Kittle's hands and just let them go to work. And if they can run the ball effectively, which, the Buccaneers run defense is not as amazing as it was the past couple of years, then they should have some offensive success. But I do think a lot of this game comes down to the Niners defense and how well they play, and I do expect a good performance out of them. So I will take the Niners minus 3.5. Next, the 4-8 Panthers are at the 7-5 Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are favorites by 3.5 points. So kind of a weird game. I don't know what to expect here, but I'm going to take Carolina because I just don't think many people would take Carolina here. So that's kind of what the thought process is here for me. But, Baker Mayfield got released, so there's no more like weird awkwardness there between like him and Sam Darnold, two guys taken in the top 3 of the same draft class. That was very odd. Anyway, so I'm going to take the Panthers, and I think Darnold showed last week he is probably the best quarterback on that roster at the moment. And the Seahawks have a beatable defense, especially run defense. Deontay Foreman should have a nice game in this one. And we've seen games where like the Panthers are like playing in a close game or even winning in a game, they will give the ball to Foreman like 25 times. And he's had games against Atlanta especially where he's had like 25 carries for 130 yards and they control the game, control the ball. And so I do think, look, the Panthers defense, you can exploit them as well. Might be a big passing day for Geno Smith, but you know what? I for some reason think the Panthers will keep this game close. I still would say Seattle probably wins it by a field goal or 1 or 2 points or whatever, or maybe even the Panthers upset. But you know what? Give me Carolina plus 3.5. Next, the 8-4 Dolphins are at the 6-6 Chargers. Of course, the fun storyline in this game will be the Justin Herbert versus Tua narrative about, two guys that were drafted back to back and who's the better quarterback and blah, blah, blah. I don't even think it's close. I would take Herbert very easily. And I don't care what the stats say. We know Herbert's better. Anyway, so I am going to take the Chargers plus 3.5. They are the more desperate team. Not saying this game is not important for the Dolphins, because it is, but if the Chargers want to have any shot of making the playoffs this year, I think they're going to pretty much have to win this game. And the Chargers, they do get Mike Williams back to that offense, so they get their, biggest wide receiver back, and that definitely should help them out against a beatable secondary for Miami. So, the Dolphins defense has allowed some big games this year. We know that the Chargers can put up some big offensive games, and this should be a very high-scoring, fun game. I'm actually looking now. It's 53.5 is the over-under, so that, of course, should be a really fun matchup. And I don't know, for some reason, I feel like the Chargers will pull this one out, but it would not shock me, of course, if the Dolphins won this game, but I will take the Chargers to cover the spread and probably win the game, in my opinion. So I'll take them plus 3.5. Next, we have the 6-6 Patriots at the 4-8 Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to take Arizona as a +2 at home here. Arizona's coming off the bye. I like that, of course, and they have some things going their way. I mean, Jacoby Myers, the top wide receiver for the Patriots, is probably not going to play. I think he's doubtful in this game with a concussion. And, the Patriots don't run the ball very well. I think if the Patriots had a great running game this year, I'd probably take New England and say they can control this game. But they have not ran the ball very well at all. And their other starting running back, Damian Harris, is out for this game as well. They still have Ramondre Stevenson, but he's definitely been a better receiver this year. If you're the Cardinals, you have Hopkins playing, you have Marquise Brown playing together, so I do love that, 1-2 threat at wide receiver. And, Arizona's offense is good enough. I think Kyler Murray has not had a amazing year by any means, but he's been, above average, and I think they're good enough here to hang around with a Patriots team that I don't think is that impressive. So both teams on the year are pretty much 500 against the spread. The Patriots are 6-5-1, so close, but the Cardinals are 6-6. So pretty even teams, but I'll take Arizona here +2 at home.